Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I hope we are doing well.
Let's get some better light here for me.
All right, we're here. I think we're good. If you're in here, please feel free to say hello. Make sure we're good. We're good to go. I undownloaded everything, and it was a giant mess. It was a giant mess of a thing. So hopefully everyone can hear us. We're live on YouTube right now. YouTube.com/Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. Anyone who does jump in, if you wouldn't mind helping us out quickly and saying hello that you can hear us, that would be swell. I mean, I guess, Jordan, I don't know if you're able to see it. Can you hear us? Yeah. Does that work too?
Give me 1 second. Let's try it out.
It'll just mess up my whole thing here if I click the unmute button. Oh, you can hear us, guys.
You fixed it. The days of technical issues are behind us.
I had to well, if you're watching this later on, I had to undownload everything we use. So all the pictures, all the Jordan, if you think back to when we did the draft episode, I had all 32 logos. I had all those players. I have all that stuff, and it's all gone.
That is just a mess.
It is just a mess. On a brighter note, though, Jordan, everything on my side is on one nice screen. So that's nice.
Great.
I can see the stream. I can see us. I can see. It's beautiful. Caitlin in the chat. Oliver can hear you. Quick. I'm going to wait for the recording part so I can throw this out there. So, Jordan, why don't we hit the record button? Let's get this going.
All right. I'm ready to go. Here we go.
Welcome back to the Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. We're here to help you take the next step in your fantasy journey. My name is Jake, and I am joined by my friend Jordan. Jordan, how you doing?
Oh, great. Ready to go.
Jordan, I'm hyped. We're doing this early again, so I can talk and not be quiet because my son's not sleeping, which is just the best. Like it's just great.
It's full volume, full animated Jake.
It's full volume Jake.
Yeah, wow.
All right, quickly, proud dad moment before we get into football. I know my son is currently watching right now. He's live on YouTube at youtube.com/Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. Jordan, get this. My son Oliver, he drew a picture today, which he does every single day, and brings it home. And of course, we throw every single one on the refrigerator, right?
Yep.
Every single one.
Yep.
And which is a fact because he's watching right now, and we love your pictures. Jordan, guess what this boy did?
What?
He wrote his name by himself on the back of his picture today.
Wow.
Oliver.
That is definitely on the fridge.
Oh, that's a fridge one.
Yeah, that one probably sits. That one ends up in a box that someday, 20 years from now, he finds.
So Oliver, great job. You did an awesome job spelling your name. Jordan could not be more proud.
I am so proud. Everyone is proud. Everyone who listens is proud.
It's true. Don's proud.
Yep.
Joey's proud. And if you want to be proud, make sure you're here on YouTube. We're live doing the episodes. YouTube.com/Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. You know what time it's at if you're following us on Facebook at the Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. All right. Enough of that. Jordan, we're missing Adam again. It's homecoming week. Guys, we knew this happened. This happened last year. We knew this was going to happen. If you're on the Facebook page, send Adam some love. You could use the support for his team. They're working hard. So he's not here with us today. That's all right. We're going to get him back here when he is available.
Yep.
So Jordan, why don't you quickly? It's not a 1 or 0, but okay. I'm going to put you on the spot a little.
Oh boy, I'm ready. Let's do it.
This morning I was listening to ESPN Radio, and there was a woman on there who was talking about how Nickelback is a good band. Everybody likes to poop on Nickelback, but let's be honest. There's some Nickelback songs in there that you like. Rockstar. Like, come on, there's some good ones. And then I thought to myself, all right, this is great because I'll ask Jordan. Putting you on the spot, top 3 favorite bands of all time. Go.
Bands of all
Bands,
time?
starting at number
You
3.
can't put
Go.
me on the spot like
Well,
that.
you have 1 minute. Go.
Oh my gosh. Let me think about it. Can I get you at the end of the episode?
Sure. I can hit you with mine because I was able to think
All right.
about it.
Yeah.
Number 3, Linkin Park. Linkin Park
Oh.
hits. At number 2, Fall Out Boy.
Linkin-
They got so many good ones. A little mainstream, but there's so many good ones.
Wow.
Number 1, without a doubt for me, is Queen.
Wow.
I love
Okay.
Queen.
That's good. That's good stuff. Queen, I respect. The other ones, like, did you stop listening to music in like 2005? Like, it was just done.
It was our
after that?
childhood. You want
Yeah.
to do that? We could talk about like Boys Like Girls.
Oh, all
Good
right.
Charlotte. See, we grew up in the early 2000s, so it was all that angsty music.
Angsty punk. Yeah.
So yes, I want you to think about it. Put it in your brain. At the end of the episode, come tell me what it is. But in the
Okay.
meantime, we got news. Let's start hitting it. Adam, what time is it?
Thank you so much, Adam, as always, for counting me in for the news. We got so much news, and
Yeah,
unfortunately,
and a lot to talk about.
Unfortunately, it's not good. So as always, the injuries come through, and there's some injuries to some key players.
Yeah.
I think the most notable one from this past week was Nick Chubb. Very serious knee injury, pretty gruesome looking too. If you watched against Pittsburgh, required surgery. He's done for the year.
Yeah.
The Browns coach, Kevin Stefanski, then comes out and says backup Jerome Ford, who played well in absence of Nick Chubb and scored a touchdown and was serviceable, said, hey, he'll be the featured running back. And then Kareem Hunt signed.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So for me, I think a lot of people blew their fab. If you play that way for waiver wires, the pretend money you get on
Yep.
Ford. I think Ford's could have a good week this week. But I think
Yep.
in a few weeks we're talking. This is Kareem Hunt. He knows the offense.
Yep.
If I'm picking one to own, I'm picking Kareem Hunt.
I agree.
But just devastating. We shared the picture on our Facebook, and I shared that because it was the first time I had saw it. I wasn't watching the game. I was busy, and I thought that was like an image that was being shared everywhere, and it was not. I rewatched I went on Hulu and I watched I started the game over and then watched that part, and Troy Aikman's like, "Yeah, we're not going to show it." So for everyone on Facebook, my bad.
Yeah. Well, I watched it in real time, and I was like, oh, that looks bad or whatever, but you didn't really get it. But
Yeah.
the slow mo and that's
Not
anyway.
good.
So done for the year. So Kareem Hunt, I agree, is the one to own. If you got Ford this week, I think you play him this week. 'Cause
Yep.
I don't Hunt just signed yesterday. Today's Wednesday.
Yes. Quickly to interrupt, Don says garbage for number 3, Smashing Pumpkins for number 2 for his favorite bands, and
for the
Liv.
band.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know who Liv is. Do you?
It's Don's favorite band.
It's Don's favorite band. Also, we have a new person in the chat. TS initials. Don't know who you are. Thanks for jumping in here, though. Good to have you. So I'm going to hit you with a quick question in between your news. He's got Kelly, Damian Pierce, Gus Edwards, and Kenneth Gainwell, if healthy. Full point PPR. Who you starting?
Oh man,
That's a tough one. So before the season, I'd say Pierce, right?
Yep.
Pierce has not been having a good year so far, and really he's not much to do in the passing offense. I would go for me. I would go. Oh, that's really hard. I might go Kelly again, and I know how
he
bad
burned
he
us
was
last week.
I know how
Yeah.
bad he was last week, but man, he's the guy there though. That's the thing right now with Austin Eckler out, and I don't see Edwards getting the passing looks. I don't see Pierce, and Gainwell would be my other pick, but I just don't know what that's going to look like after Swift went off last week.
Yeah. If you guys remember last week, we liked Kenneth Gainwell. The other guys, Rashad Penny and DeAndre Swift, got 2 carries between. Each of them got 1 carry. We were like, it's Gainwell's backfield. Gainwell gets hurt, doesn't play in week 2, and Swift blows up. They say news coming out of there is that Rashad Penny's going to get more looks and stuff. I think Gainwell missed his chance to take over the backfield because of that week 2 injury.
Sorry, the band was not live, it's live. Like, we are now streaming live on YouTube.
Oh, Jake, that's embarrassing.
Oh, gosh. And then John says, is Denver going for the number 1 pick? No, they are not. And tank. All right. Okay. Keep going. Hope we answered your question, TS. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Lots more news we got to get through. Saquon Barkley, ankle sprain. Expect that when he got the ankle sprain injury, they said probably 3 weeks. Coach Dable said, I'm not going to rule him out for Thursday night's game. He is officially ruled out for Thursday night's game. Matt Breida is going to start we're recording on Wednesday. So
I want nothing to do with that.
I agree. Against 49ers defense?
Oh, God, no. There has to be someone better.
Yeah. Well, and the Giants are going to get behind, and then they're going to be throwing, and it's going to be a mess. Matt Breida, no, don't start him. Keep an eye out on Saquon, though, because if we're talking about a 3-week ankle sprain injury, that's not insignificant. That could be something that lingers the whole year, right? For something like that. Other running backs, Jamal Williams in New Orleans, hamstring injury is going to take some time to return. Still no Kamara for week 3. He comes back in week 4. So we have Tony Jones Jr., who had a couple of touchdowns last week. And who's the rookie there? Kendra Miller. Who looks he's still working through his injury. So I'm going to say probably none of them.
Yeah, no thank you. I would rather have Tony Jones, though, over Matt Breida.
Correct. Yes. That is true. Yes. Other running backs, Cam Akers traded to the Vikings.
Yes.
So
You'll see. Sorry, go ahead.
He came out earlier this week that Rams were looking to trade him. There were a couple of teams that were interested. Browns expressed interest after the Nick Chubb injury. Ends up going to the Vikings. So Cam Akers and Alexander Mattison, who has been underwhelming.
Now, what a bummer. You'll see that we're going to talk about one of the Rams for our Monday Night Miracle guy. And we mentioned in it that, he hasn't left yet, or he hasn't been traded yet. But he's been traded. So I don't know what to make of that. I think in 3 weeks, I think that this could be Akers' backfield. I really think they are not happy with Madison.
I agree. I think they're definitely not. They need to shake things up because the Vikings are trying to win. They're in win now mode, and they're 0-2 right now. So I think they're making moves.
I think they're panicking.
I would agree with that. Yep. David Montgomery, more running back news. Has the thigh injury, is considered day-to-day. Not sure if he's going to play, which could mean Jahmyr Gibbs is a must-start this week if David Montgomery does not play.
Yeah. I think he's a pretty big start. I think if you were already starting him, like in your flex or something, you should keep doing it.
I agree. Last running back news that I have, or I guess 2 pieces of running back news that are worth calling out. Austin Eckler has an ankle injury, no timeline for his return, so that's disappointing for people who took Austin Eckler in the first round. So again, something to keep an eye out on. But again, we're looking at these first and second round guys. Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler, out for considerable amounts of time potentially. So it really stings this early in the season. Last one here, Chase Edmonds, knee injury, MCL, out 4 to 6 weeks, which means Rachaad White now gets an even bigger role. Who he has been impressive.
He has done very well.
I was kind of down on him. I've been down on the Bucs, and Don, I gotta apologize.
Especially Mike Evans. Mike Evans is wide receiver 2 right now.
I should not have been so down on the Bucs. I still think Baker Mayfield has time to turn into a big old pumpkin and get benched for Kyle Trask. But right now, it's looking good.
Jordan, I 100% agree with you. Guys, in the chat right now, we're live on YouTube, youtube.com/Next Fantasy Football Podcast. We're seeing new faces. We're seeing people asking questions. So we're going to answer them all while we do this.
Great.
Bronson, I'm not going to pronounce your last name because I do not want to be... I will get that wrong. A.J. Brown or Devontae Adams this week? A.J. Brown going up against the Rams, I believe.
A.J. Brown against...
On Monday night.
Oh, Monday night.
Yeah.
No. Nope, against the Bucs.
The Bucs, sorry.
Eagles, Bucs, and then Raiders, Steelers. So Devontae Adams against.
If you are new to the podcast, Bronson, Jordan and I, huge AJ Brown guys. So I'm gonna go AJ Brown here. But he has a better quarterback, so that's what really breaks it for me. personally.
I agree, and the Eagles put up more points. Like, I think
I agree.
That's kind of the
Adam, we're missing today, would probably say Devontae Adams. Good situation to be in. I'd be curious to see to know what the rest of your roster is, where you have to make that decision. You should be starting both of them.
One of them. Yeah, I'd start both of them. Yeah.
And then Don asks, he says he has CMC and James Cook. Do I start Gibbs over Cook?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I'm going to say no, because James Cook is one of my starts this week. He's been very good and very impressive. All right, keep the news coming, and keep those questions coming in the chat, and we'll answer them as we go.
All right, let's switch to quarterback. So Aaron Rodgers has a successful Achilles surgery.
Of course he does.
Yep. Then he casually mentions on the Pat McAfee show, I could be back before the end of the season, which would be insane. Like Cam Akers.
Did you see his Instagram though, where he quoted some philosophical quote, and then he's like, "And I will rise once again."
Yeah,
I'm just
like a
oh
phoenix
my
from
God.
the ashes. Yeah, jeez.
Like the phoenix from the ashes.
Good for you, Aaron. All joking aside, I do hope he comes back. Like, not this year would be crazy, but I hope he comes back next year. It would be disappointing if this is how his career ended. But successful Achilles surgery. On Pat McAfee show, he says he might be back before the end of the season if they're still viable. Joke's on them. Zach Wilson is just terrible.
Oh yeah,
and
he will steal your mom though.
As a quarterback. Yeah, oh look out. Other quarterback news: Joe Burrow re-aggravated his calf. Probably going to sit in week 3, maybe longer.
It's almost like Jamar Chase was right during the preseason. Yeah. He said he should not play the first game or two. Get the calf right, and then boom.
So that is wild. And they have their rookie, whatever his name is, Jake Browning.
I don't think he's a rookie, though. He's out of Washington. I don't believe he's a rookie, though. Am I wrong?
Let's find out.
Who am I thinking of? Well, while Jordan's looking at that, guys, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, help us out, hit the share button. Don says he has a bold prediction. Bucks hold Jalen Hurts to under 50 rushing yards. That's. I think the line right now is just under that, 55 or something like that. So, hey, take the under then.
I guess if Jalen Hurts has 50 rushing yards, that's a pretty good rushing outing, if you ask me. I'm not. Right, you are right, Jake. He is not a rookie. He was on the practice squad with the Minnesota Vikings for a while. Then
out of Washington.
Waived by them. Yep, out of Washington. Waived by them. Signed with Cincinnati. Was on their practice squad. Then has just got.
I believe he was the quarterback for Washington when they were in the Final Four for the college football playoff.
College football playoff.
Jordan, quickly, I made it. Jamie pops in the legend. By the way, Jordan is. Well, we're part of that Facebook page where we can post on there, and there's 30,000 people in there. It's pretty much his page. So, the legend's in here. He said he made a trade today giving up Stroud, Howell, and a 2024 first for Justin Herbert and Algier. 12-team Superflex. Now he has Herbert, T-Law, and Goff. What are your thoughts on that?
I love me some Justin Herbert. I have him on my dynasty team too.
That's love that. Love that.
You're a little more in win now mode if you're getting rid of like Stroud, right? Who has kind of that long term.
And Howell's a throw in for me there.
Yeah.
And then especially if you already have T-Law and Goff, but Howell's a throw in, and then 2024. I mean, he's the defending champ. He's going for it, and I have no problem when people just go for it. It doesn't work out sometimes, but like, it's good. I like it.
In fantasy football, if you're in a dynasty league, Jake is the Rams.
Oh yeah,
that is Jake.
In our home league that Jordan and Zach Piper, who just chimed in. Hello, man. How's it going? I do not have any picks in this next draft. I am the trade picks win now every week.
Yep.
And it's not
Jake,
going well.
how's your team doing? Yeah, how's your team doing?
Do we really want to do this? I have
0-2.
He's 0-2. I am 0-2. I have Pollard. I have CMC, I have Derrick Henry, I have Cooper Kupp, I have Justin Fields, and it's not going well.
It's not going well.
Anyways.
All right. We got more
going.
news we got to get through. We got more news. Last piece of quarterback news, Anthony Richardson got a concussion in week 2. Missed the second half of the game. Gardner Minshew came in. They win the game. Something to keep an eye on for. Because I'm high on Anthony Richardson. His rushing upside is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, he's rushing for touchdowns every single game. So keep an eye on it. If he doesn't start, everyone in that offense takes a step back.
Because you know who came in for him last week? And
Minshew
balled
mania.
out. Minshew mania once again.
Jake is just so high.
I
on
love
Minshew.
Minshew.
Yeah. All right, wide receivers. There's less of these
Okay.
than there were running backs. Brandon Cooks trending towards playing week 3. Jake,
Love it.
the man, the myth, the legend.
I need him to start. I need him to play a little. He didn't have the biggest week 1, so I need him to start stepping up here to make that book look good.
Correct. Yeah. Yep. Deontay Johnson placed on IR, so he's just out, and now he's on IR with a hammy. Keep an eye on that. You'll have to bench him for a while. Jalen Waddle in concussion protocol might miss the next week.
More targets for Hill.
He gets out, who has an ankle injury. He's banged up. He didn't practice today. So I think Hill is going to play. Hill is trending towards playing. But they could just have banged up little wide receiver room there as they are heading into week 3. Darnell Mooney had a pretty scary-looking hit injury. They thought it was a knee thing. Turns out, no serious knee injury. He'll probably play next week. So
Go team.
It's not worth playing, but something to keep an eye on. DJ Moore had an awesome week, too.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Jake, surprise, surprise, the biggest surprise of the whole week, OBJ is dealing with an ankle injury.
Gosh, Odell.
He's a little soft tissue injuries, because he could, he's a wide receiver too, as a smart man once said.
Hey, I'm willing to take the L on that if it happens.
Yeah,
if
sure
it happens. And then some things in regards to the Bears that happened today. I don't know if you saw that.
Yep.
Justin Fields called out his coach. He said that he's felt like he's playing robotic and that he pretty much said he's being overcoached, which is certainly possible. I mean, they threw 3 screen passes in a row. Luke Getsky, former Packer offensive line coach, not doing a good job so far, I would say. No. And he said today that he's just going to say F it and go for it and just play football. And I think that's where Justin Fields is his best. Right? Would you agree?
Well, I have a lot more to talk about Justin Fields a little later on here.
Okay.
But yeah, apparently, like kind of what I've been hearing and what I've been listening to is that like in the mic, like when he's calling the plays, he's like also telling him what to do about the play, and I think that's who knows. I've never played quarterback, but it sounds like that's
just let him go.
And so we'll get to some of the stats that have been shocking to me about Justin Fields.
You're gonna tell him to sit. You're gonna make him sit, aren't you?
Sits Justin Fields.
No.
Yeah.
And then their defensive coordinator resigned today as well.
Yeah, it seems health issues, so we'll hope for the best for him. But yeah, definitely Bears in kind of tailspin, it seems.
Yeah.
For a team that was not tanking. They seem to be doing an awful good job at it. Yeah. Better job than the Cardinals are.
All right, Jordan. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to hit them with the Thursday night Top Gun. We're going to give a few start-sits here. And then Monday night we'll call it a episode. Typically during the season, we like to keep them around 30 minutes. And we have already been chit-chatting for 23. So
there's a lot been going on.
I know. Let me catch up the chat quick. John's talking about George Pickens, who went off last week. He is a must-start, I would say, right now. Mooney going to the moon with no points at all. That's hilarious. Jamie says, who would have thought an old wide receiver with 2 ACL injuries would have issues this year? All right, Jamie. I believe. I just love it. Love him. Some trash talking of the Packers. How many people started Mike Evans last week? I think you should be starting Mike Evans every week now. And Don says, Jordan, to prove why sit Justin Fields, just give him all the stats from week 2. He should have had at least 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. We'll get into that in just a sec. So, Jordan, why don't who did we do? Why don't you?
Let me hit.
Why don't you do Thursday Top Gun? Is hold on, I have it on our logo here. Ready? Our Thursday night Top Gun is this man, Brock Purdy.
So this Thursday we got the Giants at the 49ers. So guys are starting no matter what, right? Like Debo and CMC, and those are guys who are playing anyway. So we're looking at
AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts.
They play on Monday.
No.
Yeah.
God, my games are all about. Who are they playing on?
Oh my gosh.
I'm so sorry.
Thursdays.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
Thursday's game is the Giants at the 49ers. That is Thursday. tomorrow, the 21st.
Oh my God.
Then Monday, there are 2 games, Jake, which might be what's tripping you up. And that would be the Eagles at the Bucks and the Rams at the Bengals.
Got it. Okay.
2 games on Monday.
Also, the chat's loving your graphic. If you're listening later, you'll be able to see that graphic on Thursday on our Facebook page at the Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast.
The graphics department.
Yes.
Shout out to the Next Step Pod graphics department. All right, Brock Purdy. This is what we like Brock Purdy. The Giants stink. Their defense is 0 out of 10. Just terrible. So they made Joshua Dobbs look like a top quarterback last week. He was literally in QB5 last week or whatever.
I started the Giants defense last week.
Why would you do that?
Going up against Josh Dobbs?
Yeah.
I'm looking for a middle-of-the-road defense, and I couldn't even get that.
No. So the reason that I like that is Christian McCaffrey, obviously, I'm really excited about. I think they get ahead. I think they run a lot of screenplays, just keep things short. There's no need to go over the top. That's what Brock Purdy excels at. So that's why I like Brock Purdy this week. I think you'll find him in the top 10 for this week.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally, I mean, it's been, I've been a vocal person about Brock Purdy, right? And he's still new. I will say that. I still don't know if he's a franchise quarterback. I've said that. Well, mainly because our sample size is so small. I will say that, these first 2 weeks have really made me feel like he might be. Like, it just is taking me a little longer. Because he's doing exactly what you need. Like, you need 2 touchdowns, no picks, and take care of the football. My thing, like, in Brock Purdy's future, and this doesn't really matter right this second, right? What happens when, CMC's done, right? Or Debo's done? I don't think he's the type of guy that is going to elevate all the people around him. That's my opinion, right? His Super Bowl window is right now. Like, I don't think it's going to happen later on.
No, and it's only because of the team he's on. The defense is awesome. Like, this isn't me saying Brock Purdy is like top tier quarterback. This isn't a Jordan's football perspective. This is fantasy football.
Yeah. Sorry,
I think he will score a lot of points this week. Yes, so I agree with everything you're saying. I think against the Giants defense, it's going to be just.
I think his floor is 2 touchdowns. You might get 3 touchdowns out of him.
Yeah.
And a guy that you probably picked up off the waiver wire, for being honest. But, if you have a Joe Burrow, let's say you have a Joe Burrow and you didn't take a good backup because, let's face it, we're all starting Joe Burrow every week. And Brock Purdy is on the waiver wire, go pick him up. He is reminding me of Jared Goff from last year. And I know we're only 2 weeks in, but that's the kind of guy who's going to fly under the radar and be in the top 10 every week. So go start Purdy. I will say, I have to tell you, Jordan, that in the chat here, Don says, I gotta say, I started the Giants defense too. Zach Piper, he started it too, -1 points. I believe in our league, Jordan, I got .05.
They are allowing 35 points,
That's
34
ungodly
points
bad.
a game. That is so bad. And they played the Cardinals.
Yeah.
One of those games. So, okay. Yeah, this is a sit, and it should go without saying. Do not start the Giants defense the rest of the year. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Yeah. Okay, Jake, let me hit you with a Sunday start.
Thank you.
Because it's a dual. It's a dual start because it's the same game.
Yeah.
And it is the Vikings and the Chargers.
Okay.
Start both Kirk Cousins and Justin Herbert. You probably start Justin Herbert anyway. I love this matchup. It is 2 teams. Their defenses are leaky. They both are 0-2. They gotta win. Both teams have elite pass catchers. I'm obsessed with this matchup. I think that it's going to be a huge, high-scoring affair. Love both quarterbacks and kind of all the receivers in this mix this week. Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, Keenan Allen. I'm all about it.
Okay.
Well, you don't like that?
No, I do like that. Let me just say that. I just think cop out. That's what I think. Most people are starting those guys no matter what.
Okay, I see Justin Herbert. I see. He was kind of a throw because they're playing each other.
That's my question.
A lot of people probably don't start Kirk. They should be, but the people don't. He's not an exciting name, Jake.
I hear you.
That's why we're here. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I hear you.
You got to get over the hype a little bit of like the football side of things, and just he's a good fantasy quarterback. You start him every week.
All right, we had that's fine. I'm with you. I agree. Those are good starts. I'm sorry. I was just expecting more out of you.
It doesn't seem. All right, I got some other good.
I was just expecting more. What do you think? Checking the chat. What do you think? What do you think about Madison and Akers? Zach, we mentioned that at the top of the episode. Be here on time.
Okay, well,
it's okay. For everyone who doesn't know, he is one of our good friends, so that's why it's fine. I think Akers takes over the backfield in a few weeks. That I hope one of them does. Is my point. Like, it's a pain in the butt if it's going to be a full split. Like, that's just the worst. Jamie says he parlayed CMC anytime to... Oh, geez. Okay. Do you follow betting, Jordan?
Well, that would be against Wisconsin state laws, Jake.
Well, actually, if you do... Okay, it's fine. What do you think of this? So, are you familiar with how a parlay works?
Yep. Okay,
you got to get them all. For anyone who doesn't, I'm going to name some things. You have to get all of them to hit in order to get your winnings. If you get 5 right and one doesn't hit, you lose. So he parlayed CMC an anytime touchdown, Purdy over 175 yards. Their money line, the Giants over 9.5 total points, but and under 50.5. Did you follow that?
CMC touchdown.
Yep.
Brock Purdy 175 passing yards. I love both those.
Yep. The Niners over 19.5 points.
Yep. Love
that. The Niners money line. I don't know what that is off the top of my head. The Giants to go over 9.5 points.
I don't like that.
And the total points for both teams to go under 50.
Okay, so
I think you have a good chance of hitting there.
The Giants over 9.5 is the only curious part to me there. But we could introduce a little betting segment on this that we could mess around with.
Yes. All right, Jordan, quickly before I hit you with one, Tua or Kirk?
Kirk.
No. Tua is quarterback 2 right now.
Yeah, guess who's quarterback 1, Jake?
Is it Kirk?
Kirk Cousins.
I love that.
Let's go.
No, start Tua. Don't be ridiculous. Garrett Wilson, you do try to trade him, or do you hold on to him? In a redraft league, I'd probably try to move him, if I'm being honest.
I would too. Yeah.
Dynasty, just hold on to him.
Old. Yep. But
here's the thing. I don't think that Wilson's value is going to get any better this year. So if you can do it now. My start this week, someone had reached out on the Patreon section. We have a number for Patreon members. They can reach out to us during the week at any time. If you want to be part of that, it's on our Facebook page. And they asked, is Nico Collins a must start? So then I brought it to the boys. We're not saying he's a must start anymore. He's currently wide receiver 4 on the year. But he is a start this week. Last week he had 9 receptions for $146 and a touchdown. That is, love that. Going up against a Jaguars defense that is relatively good, I would say, right? Especially they just held the Chiefs to 17 points. But here's the thing. He's seeing a 60% target share right now, which is fantastic. That's what you want. CJ Stroud already has more 300-yard passing games than Justin Fields does. So they are chucking the ball. CJ Stroud currently leads the league in passing attempts. So, number one receiver, clearly the number one receiver on a team that's passing a lot. For the quarterback who is doing relatively well, give me Nico Collins. If you're starting him in a flex spot, I like that. I think you get wide receiver 2 numbers out of him though this week.
Yep. I wouldn't expect the same.
No.
But I agree. He's clearly the number one target there in an offense that's chucking up. I'm looking at it right at 91 pass attempts in 2 games. Like, give me the number one target in that.
All right. You have a sit?
All right. I do. I have actually 2 sits this week.
Okay.
First one, let's do quarterback. Justin Fields at Kansas City. We talked a little bit about Justin Fields. It sounds like there's some business going on there. Not happy with the coaching. He's playing a Kansas City defense that is shockingly stout. They held Trevor Lawrence to only field goals. Like, The
Yeah.
Jags are good,
Yeah.
and that's like so. Imagine what they're going to do to Justin Fields and the Bears. Like it's just going to be a tough defense. The other thing too is Justin Fields has not been running the ball. He has in 2 games he has 62 rushing yards. I mean,
Yeah.
that's so disappointing. Like, we knew he wasn't an elite passer. So what made him exciting in fantasy football was that he was going to have that rushing upside. And it's like, if you're rushing 30
It's
yards a
non-existent.
game, it's nothing. And so that makes him just an absolute sit. Unless they get something figured out, I feel comfortable sitting him this week against the Chiefs because he's just not been playing well and the Chiefs defense is good.
Yeah, I think you're as a Justin Fields owner, it's too hard to sit him. That's my thought. Yeah, it depends who your backup is. I'm not
that's
sitting
the
him.
biggest. Pick up Brock Purdy. That is a huge
Ooh.
mistake you can make every single week. Is having this idea?
Would you sit Fields and start Purdy on a Thursday night?
Yes,
Ho ho ho!
100%. It is. It's to me, it's a big mistake, and I always fall victim to it too. Which is every single week. You always want to start the guys that you drafted in like rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 because you're like, but I drafted him so early, I have to stay committed to him. And Justin Fields is one of those guys, and it's not a season. Maybe he irons things out, and maybe they let him go and they turn him loose, and he gets 1,000 rush yards again, and then he's back in your lineup. Like, don't cut him, but it's you could just keep losing every single week if you don't recognize that he's not playing well.
I think it really depends on your roster. I think that's like how deep are rosters? What's it look like, right? For example, like on my team, I have Justin Fields. I'm not benching him for Jimmy Garoppolo this week.
Okay, super flex is hard because it's double quarterbacks,
True.
but you're looking in leagues that have one quarterback. Like Jared Goff might be around, like Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud. These are guys that might be on your Brock Purdy might be on your waiver wire. Like Sam Howell, all of these guys, I'm all about.
You're starting Sam Howell.
Yes.
Oh,
over
man.
Justin Fields.
Oh,
Jake, the numbers don't lie, man.
I hear you. It's the upside. Like I'm okay. I'm not willing to sit Fields yet, personally.
I'm saying week 3 against the Kansas City Chiefs defense, who has like Trevor Lawrence had a dud game. I'd rather have Sam Howell last week than Trevor Lawrence, and that's just what the numbers say.
Okay.
So I'm doing it again versus Justin Fields.
Okay. I'm gonna go to AJ Dillon, our Green Bay Packers. He was
my other sit. He was my other sit.
So this is assuming Aaron Jones doesn't play. This man has been bad. He has been very bad. He's averaging 2.8 yards a carry and not getting in the end zone. I want nothing to do with this running back situation. Going up against a Saints defense that is doing very well right now. Yeah, I want nothing to do with AJ Dillon. He might be my sit of the week, especially for, where he was going in drafts. 2.8 yards is not getting it done for me. So, no thank you. Not really part of the passing offense. I mean, Jordan Love's throwing for like 200 yards maybe. So, I mean, he's being efficient, but he's still working himself into the offense. Nothing to do with AJ Dillon. No thank you. I will say he has that touchdown upside because he will get the goal line carries, but I don't see it happening this week.
Yeah, you've been banging on this drum for a long time, Jake, and people weren't listening to you. I was one of those, but you were absolutely right. Aaron Jones was out.
Yep.
The Packers were up by 16. And they gave it to him 15 times for 55 yards, and he only had 1 reception.
That's
like
bad.
That is so bad. Like, you would expect that to all of those numbers to double if Aaron Jones is out, and it just wasn't.
Nope.
So, yeah, agreed.
Sorry. All right. Why don't we answer? If you last call, ask your start sit questions in the chat, and we'll answer those at the end. I will talk about our Monday Night Miracle. Let me switch it around. Our Monday Night Miracle is it Kieran? Is that how you'd pronounce it? That's what I thought. Kieran Williams. So this was before the news came out that Cam Akers was.
We'll update that graphic.
Yeah, we'll post it. So he is the running back there. I mean, he has been killing 100 yards. He's doing really well. Really, really well. Going up against a Bengals defense or a Bengals team that will have no Joe Burrow, hopefully. Or hopefully, I'm sorry. Likely.
Sadly.
I know,
likely.
sadly. Joe Burrow playing like the Joe Burrow I once thought he was.
He's hurt. He is literally injured.
Kieran Williams, I believe, is currently in the top 5 of rushing.
He is running back 3 right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's playing like a running back 1. Let him rip it. Let him fly. I think we could easily get, 75 yards and a touchdown, 100 yards out of him. Because they are handing the ball off to him and throwing it to Puka. So, he is our Monday Night Miracle. We're going to start him for the foreseeable future because he's playing really well.
Yeah,
Do you have anything?
Yeah, and he's got the whole thing, and it's just, I think, like you said, the backfield's his. If assuming Joe Burrow doesn't play, which is extremely unlikely, and the Rams get up early, like they're just going to feed him.
Agreed.
I mean, he has like 30 attempts in 2 games, and game 1 he split carries. Like week 1 he split carries with Cam Akers. I mean, we're just he's the guy. 3 touchdowns on the season already. 4 touchdowns. He had a receiving touchdown. So I'm all about it.
All right, Jordan, last one. We got people saying Packers should trade for Taylor. That's not going to happen, Zach. The Cardinals. John's mentioning how the Cardinals were terrible in baseball this year.
Oh, yeah, it was a bad season. But, yeah, Waino, I see that. Adam Wainwright.
2 wins.
Huge.
All right,
All-time career.
Last one. Start Mostert or Jacobs?
Oh, I want to say this is where you can get yourself into trouble, Jake.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
It's Josh Jacobs for sure, right? Because he
was a second-round pick.
Yeah, because you got him. But
who are the teams?
Yeah, let's see who they're playing.
My instinct wants to say Mostert, if I'm being honest.
Against the Broncos?
Against the Broncos. He killed it last week. He's getting all the carries. Jacobs was bad last week. Like, at one point I saw he had like 8 carries for -2 yards or something like that.
Mostert, 18 carries, 121 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And was he getting targeted? No. One reception. So, no. But Josh Jacobs is you're just seeing he's missed, like the time he missed in camp is
Give me Mostert.
showing.
Give me Mostert.
Give
me Mostert.
I think I'm into that. They play the Steelers, and the Steelers, the team is not great, but their defensive line is awesome.
Yeah.
TJ Watt.
Give me the Steelers. And then Zach says, I have Chubb and Taylor. Running backs are rough. Madison or Kendre Miller. This week I'm going Madison.
Yep. And this is the last week I will say that.
Yep.
And Kendre Miller is also a little injured, right? You said he had a hammy?
Yeah. So we don't even know if he's going to play. So there you go, guys. There's week 3. Thanks for hanging around with us. You can follow us on Facebook at the Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. We're live on YouTube. If you're watching this later or listening to this later, that's why we kind of seem to be talking to other people. We're typically live Tuesday or Wednesday. I think we're going to move to this like 6:30 Central Time, so you can kind of look at that.
I like it.
And then we have an Instagram, next_step_pod. And then we have a Patreon if you want to monetarily help us out. No pressure there, but it's there if you want. Jordan, you have anything else you want to say?
Yes, my top 3 musical artists.
All right, go.
So I don't forget. It's going to be 21 Pilots. Loved them since the beginning. I'm all about it.
Okay.
It's going to be DNCE.
I knew you were going to say that.
I love DNCE, and it's a shame that the Jonas Brothers got back together and took Joe Jonas out of that band. It's absolutely
down with the Jonas Brothers.
Yep, and number 1, and should be everyone's number 1, because it's just the truth, is our queen Taylor Swift.
That's not a band.
It's a musical artist.
Oh,
you need it to be a whole band.
I said a band. That's why I picked those people. Jordan once again letting everyone down. That's why you should always listen to me. All right, guys, you take care. Be good.
Terrible.
Guys on YouTube, we appreciate you guys.
I might edit that out, Jake. I might edit that out.
Because
that
you can't.
Is just rude.
Guys, on the YouTube side of things, thank you for hanging around with us. This chat was popping tonight. We can kind of see how many people jump. We had 17 people just jump in tonight. So usually that's kind of what we get for the whole episode each week. So I appreciate you guys hanging around. That's awesome. Jamie says, great show. Hey, appreciate you guys hanging around. We saw 2 new faces tonight. Love that. So Jordan, you want to say anything to the people?
No, thanks, and Jake,
no, thanks.
I'm so upset with you.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Take care. Be good.